don't let your disability or see epilepsy define you for who you are and what you want to do. Like when you grow up. My name is Maiyah Fields. I am 15 years old. Actually, I'm turning 16 in September.
You nervous leaving high school, Maiyah? Or
I definitely, since we're going to 12th grade, yeah, I'm definitely nervous because I don't know what I'm going to do after that, college-wise, basically. Because
oh no, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Because college, really, like when I get up there, I'm going into 10th grade, 11th, 12th. I wasn't sure what school I was going to go to. I really want to go to a good school, but what school like requires like my learning difference and stuff? Is there a school that, or I was telling my mom, is there a school that can require my learning difference? Or because I want to go like to my friend's school, like do all this.
Yeah.
Then I realized like, okay, I can go, but I have a learning difference too. I need to ask for help when I need something. Because I would definitely get stuck on a problem, and then I'll get a headache, and then that would just start with the staring spell. So go into my own corner and have like a, not tutor, but like a person there.
Right. And they have like tutors available at college. I mean, I feel like especially now there's so many resources that you can find at colleges, and people are so much more accepting. I mean, even from when I went to school. So like, I mean, I'm sure you'll be able to find something. And if you have a dog with you, I mean, everyone's going to be around you. So.
Definitely.
So.
Yeah, I think that's like the cool thing. I mean, it's such a difference, like going from high school to college. Like that's something that they don't teach us, is that like the services are so different. Like there are like you're mandated to get certain like things given to you and like supports given to you when you're in high school. But then like once you leave, it's like, well, you got to figure it out on your own. Like you have to ask for yourself.
Like, they don't even they're like, good luck.
Yeah, exactly. And like their services are there, like especially in college. I mean, most colleges now have like disability services, or like if you need extra help like in classes or whatever, you just like you have to advocate for yourselves to be able to get it, and you can get it, which is great. And I think that's awesome that like if you're aware of it, that's the problem, is like if people aren't aware, then they're not able to ask for those things. Obviously you being aware and being able to ask for it, but yeah, that shouldn't stop you for like going to a college that your friend's going through or whatnot, because every university should have very similar kind of options and stuff. Okay, so you're going into 12th grade.
I'm going into 10th grade.
Okay, sorry. I was like, hey, you're like, whoa.
I don't know why we had the sorry, Maiyah.
I'm going into 10th grade, yes.
No, that's good. Okay. So you have time to figure out, like, I don't think I even thought about college until after, like, towards the end of my like junior year. So you definitely have time to kind of like figure out or what. And are you still thinking of like going into like a medical kind of helping profession, or like what do you think?
When I go, I first want to be like the EEG technician, because I get EEGs a lot. And I will basically ask the people that are doing my like EEGs, like, what school did you go to, or like what programs, because I want to be an EEG technician also. And then when I kind of get there, I need to have like a master's or like a bachelor degree. I do some research or Googling. And once I work my way there, I want to be like a child life specialist. Cool. So I can share my story with other kids, and then they could tell me their story. So
That's awesome. And I think we were talking about this the last time, like, because it was right before, I think it was before you got your EEG. It was that
Yeah.
class. And I mentioned, I said, oh my gosh, I said, have them braid your hair, because
Yeah.
it's literally like I would have never, I never even knew about this until like later on in life. And I honestly think every EEG tech should know how to braid hair. And now every time I go, I ask, I'm like, do you know how to braid hair? Because
Yeah.
Ricky, the glue that they use,
It smells so bad.
it smells so bad and it completely destroys your hair.
Oh my
Like,
God.
and they usually, like, I mean, I know what they did with me. They just would like clump the hair together. So you just
Wow.
have this like
Yeah.
matted like thing on your head.
Uh,
But if you get braids and they braid
Yeah,
it
that's what
out,
I had.
did they do that with you? So you probably were completely.
I had braids in my hair, and then they like took it out,
Mhm.
and then it was so like I stretched my hair, and then I'm like,
Yeah.
oh wait, I can't touch my eyes because it's just gonna burn.
Yeah.
So bad.
it's interesting that you both of you are talking about this, because it makes me think like lots of medical professionals, let's say for example, like even working with like people with other types of disabilities or whatever, like
Mhm.
they don't get like the training necessarily to like know how to maybe interact with families or interact with people. And like, yeah, like those techs probably don't know like some of the tricks or whatever, because all they know is how to run the EEG, and that's
Yeah.
about it. And
Mhm.
it's they should be getting the training. They should be hearing from people like you all about like here are the things that you should be like doing. And like no, I noticing it's just like it's interesting that like that doesn't happen.
Yeah. I mean, ever since I got my hair braided, I ask all the time. And then I'm like, okay, I'll braid it. Like I don't care. But
Right.
it's honestly it works wonders to do it like that. And then Maya, I'm sure you know because
Yeah, I had to have when I got home. I would have to like put like a shower cap on because because of my dog, and she likes licking my hair, and then it's be like, oh,
oh yeah, you
that's
don't want her thinking that.
oh geez. So I like to cover my hair.
Have you like since kind of like coming out and like kind of sharing your story more with friends and whatnot, and like kind of getting out of your comfort zone, have you seen like changes within your life because you did that? Like positive things happen or
I've seen, I could say yes, sharing my story to my true friends kind of like got that off of my chest because I was like, okay, I shared some with you, but I didn't share my whole story because I'm like embarrassed. Like, what are they gonna say? Are you really my true friends or not? But once I said it, I'm like, okay, this makes me feel better, and then I'm just like, I am unique. I am determined. I can do anything. Just like affirmations. Like I have that on my wall, and my parents tell me like to say it in my head. You are unique. You are determined. You are funny. You are caring. Don't let this disability bring you down for something that you want to do. You're caring to do, or what brings you up for college, or whatever.
Wow, you're gonna make me cry.
oh my gosh, that's it's just
This wasn't my plan this afternoon.
but like I mean you already are like smarter than I was when I was in ninth grade. So like what advice would you, if someone was watching this, let's say if they have epilepsy or whatever they like, so just some random person watching this, like what advice would you give somebody, especially going through kind of high school and like trying to figure out what they want to be? Because it seems like you have a pretty good head on your shoulders of like you're asking the technicians that are working with you, or like you kind of know like that you want to tell your story and like help people.
When I was younger, I didn't want to tell my story, but as I started talking to my parents, I'm like, oh, okay, this is my story, and I can tell people like I am unique. I don't have to
I mean, that's just so like I mean, even just like hearing this, like as an almost 30-year-old, like hearing that, like, yeah, like it's important to like tell your story and to like help other people like that. So like it's so cool that like you've gotten to that point to like kind of know to do that at your age, why that's so important. And yeah, it breaks down barriers and like it makes like our society a more inclusive place if we can share and help each other out.
And it's really kind of piggybacking off of what Ricky said. It's very inspiring seeing you say that at such a young age, because when I was your age, I had such a hard time with it, like coming out and
Yes.
saying stuff, because you're afraid of like judgment, or you're afraid that like people are going to be afraid of you, or you're going to get weird questions, and rightfully so, because people don't understand it, and it's totally fine if they do have questions. And that was something I had to like come to terms with, and I didn't come to terms with it till like a little bit like in my early 20s is when I finally opened up to being able to share about it. But to hear someone at your age be able to share their story, it's very inspiring, and it kind of like hits home a lot for me, and I'm very proud of you. So I just had to put that out there.
My mom kind of had to like break me out my shell, like, because I was like quiet, like completely quiet. Mm-hmm. And then if I would just like have regular friends, and I wouldn't tell them anything, but I should tell them, just in case if we're walking and something happens and they don't know what to do. So my mom would explain it. And then when I got older, she'd be like, you have to tell your story. You know your story. Mm-hmm. You know what it feels like, how to feel. She said, I don't know how it feels because I'm not you. But you have to explain it. You have to show people.
Yeah. And it's funny because I always thought like people like were like gonna,
if you're their friend.
And I always felt, and I'm sure you felt like this too, Maiyah, like I always feel like a burden a lot of the times, because it's like obviously I can't care for myself when I'm having a seizure. I need someone to care. But something that I did realize was the more that when I had friends who witnessed me have a seizure, afterwards I always got like words of like kindness afterwards, and just asking like, are you okay? Like, because people do care. And I think that was kind of like, it was like a myth in my head that like, oh, nobody cares. Yeah. At the end of the day, it's like, no, people do care. Like,
yeah, more people need to hear that, because maybe they're in situations where they don't hear that from family or friends or whatnot. And so hearing it from people like you is definitely really important.
And I think too, another thing is like when you share your story with your friends, like maybe like your friends were going through something, and then like, even though it's probably not the same thing as epilepsy, but it probably gives you like, I know I experienced this with a lot of my friends. Some of my friends who are still my friends to this day, who still ask about it, they are so in tune with me that it's a completely like different bond. It's like a sister bond. It's like they're so caring, and it really helped them grow as a person too. So you're like indirectly impacting that person's life on a positive note, even though, like I just said, like you feel like a burden. In actuality, like a lot of times these people, like it helps them grow and mature and become, something that they didn't realize about themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So I I did want to ask, what have you liked most about being a part of the transitional social group program? Have you enjoyed it so far?
I think for this program, I got to, like, how do I say, talk more, like, mostly, I could say share my story and, like, get stuff really, like, off my chest, because I don't want to speak to my parents. I can, but it's like you don't really know what I feel, or you don't know what I'm going through. You help me. You get the meds and stuff. I appreciate that. But like body, you don't know how like the staring spells and the throbbing like works. Just having people that have epilepsy or can kind of relate. Like I don't know everybody's story, but to get my story out and have like stuff, something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's so important to be in a place where like you share some commonality with other people. Because yeah, I mean, like we can't be expected to share. And again, like I'm the one in this group right now as the outsider. But like yeah, like like I feel like as being kind of like the person who is not the one with the commonality in this group, like I feel like I can identify with like the parents in that aspect, that it's like, yeah, like you want people to share things with you and you want to be the one that like they talk to, but like it's not like that's fine and dandy and all, but like it's important for you all to like have a place to like share with someone who like is very like-minded and knows exactly like what you're gonna say, so you have that connection, even if it is just to like get it off your chest. And so I'm so glad that like that this has been a place for you to be able to do that. Kind of going along the same lines with like the TSGs and stuff. So is that like and I don't know if this is a different answer, but is that kind of the reason why you signed up for coming back to it again? Because like you had that same feeling?
Yes. The first time I think, yeah, I was talking and I got stuff off my chest. And then when I told my mom, like, I want to come back, I'm like, I want to get like more stuff off my chest and be like relatable to other people and like say something like, I was on a gluten-free diet for a long time. I still am. Still having like these staring spells and stuff, and still remembering like my first seizure, my second seizure, and like how how can I get that off of my how can I get that off of my mind, something like that. Somebody give me advice, because I don't want to keep thinking about that every time I have like a staring spell. I want to think of something positive.
Yeah. I feel like this session, you're more open and you're a lot more comfortable sharing, which is no, it's great. I love seeing it because I feel like last session it was like the feeling, and it was a little bit more. It was, I think the last class was older kids. It was like seniors, where this time it's more like sophomores. Kids who are like 15. But it's nice seeing you actually like share everything, and like people, I noticed the camaraderie in this session is a lot more like, more engaging, which I'm really happy to see. And I'm happy to see, and people always ask you like questions, which is really cool. I mean, Maiyah, you're so like poised, and literally that's such a great thing to have, especially at your age. Like exactly what Ricky said, I can only imagine what you're going to be like when you're like in your 20s. But yeah, I'm really really grateful and appreciative that like I got to meet you and like work with you, and we're still gonna like work together. That was a really loud clap, sorry. We're still gonna like be able to talk and everything like that. And yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna get emotional.
You don't know what you're gonna
Sorry.
say.
No, I'm just very proud because this is something that like that I personally have always wanted to do, is just help teens and like really kind of just mentor and just be there. And like if they have questions, I can give you the best answers as possible. But like seeing someone like you and the perspective you have, it makes me so happy. So yeah.
Thank you.
Hi everyone. Good night.
Bye, Maiyah.
Bye. The number one thing I would say, because it's really fun and we play games a lot. And the second thing is that you can bond with everybody and make new friends. You can get out of your comfort zone and kind of, if you want to, share your story or kind of relate to other people. Kind of just being determined, getting onto a class, even though you might not know the people at first. You'll get to know them.
Yeah. I kind of like that too, what you said. Like, you can share your story if you want to, but it's not like, you're not pressured to. It's kind of just come and get what you want to get out of the class, which is really cool.